Big Social Security changes are coming, and for millions of retirees, it could mean bigger $5,190 checks, tighter budgets, or even new eligibility rules by 2026. If you're retired, about to retire, or rely on these benefits, what happens in 2026 could redefine your financial future. Right now, Congress is debating how to protect and expand Social Security as inflation continues to crush seniors' budgets. For retirees and working families, these decisions will shape survival, your check amount, your eligibility, and how your future benefits are calculated. So stay with me to the end, because what's being planned in Washington could directly impact your pocketbook. The 2026 COLA adjustment, why it feels like a raise that isn't? Let's begin with the headline. The 2026 cost of living adjustment, COLA, is projected to increase benefits by 2.8%. That means the maximum monthly retirement benefit for someone claiming at full retirement age will rise to $4,152, up from $4,018 in 2025. But here's the truth. That 2.8% increase might sound good on paper, but when your rent, prescriptions, and groceries jump twice as fast, it doesn't feel like a raise. It feels like falling behind. Many seniors say they're paying more for gas, electricity, and food, while their Social Security barely covers essentials. The official COLA number may rise, but real-life costs rise faster. That's why lawmakers are pushing to change the formula behind these yearly adjustments. Why Washington wants to replace the COLA formula. Currently, the Social Security Administration uses a measure called the CPI-W, which tracks inflation based on the spending habits of working Americans, not retirees. But seniors spend differently. They pay more for healthcare, housing, and medication, and less on commuting or childcare. That's why lawmakers and advocacy groups are pushing for the CPI-E, the Consumer Price Index for the elderly. The CPI-E focuses on senior spending habits and would make benefit increases more accurate. Experts say this small change could put hundreds of extra dollars into retirees' pockets each year. Still, the administration hasn't shown strong support for the switch. That's frustrating millions of retirees who feel left behind by outdated policies. Here's a recent statement from policymakers calling the current COLA a broken measure that punishes older Americans. They're right. When your benefits are tied to the wrong inflation formula, every year feels like a pay cut. The disability rules shock fewer people may qualify. Now that we've covered COLA, let's talk about another major shift that's worrying advocacy groups, the proposed changes to disability rules. A recent study found that the Social Security Administration is considering updates to how disability claims are evaluated. On the surface, this sounds like modernization, but according to experts, the proposed changes could deny benefits to hundreds of thousands of people, particularly older adults. Many fear that stricter evaluation standards would make it harder to qualify for disability support, even for those with legitimate conditions. Here's a statement from researchers who reviewed the proposed changes. These updates would disproportionately impact aging workers already struggling with chronic illness and limited job options. If implemented, this could reshape the landscape for SSDI and SSI recipients. Seniors and disabled Americans are urging lawmakers to slow down and reconsider before lives are disrupted. Social Security solvency. Why time is running out. Representative John Larson recently issued a stark warning about Social Security's long-term solvency. Larson said a recent report by the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget shows that the latest budget proposal could shorten the program's solvency by 2 full years. In plain terms, that means the trust fund that pays benefits could run dry even sooner than expected, potentially within the next decade, unless major reforms are made. Larson argued, We must act now, not just to protect Social Security, but to expand it, especially during this period of inflation when working families and retirees need it most. Today, more than 70 million Americans rely on Social Security. For about 40% of them, this is their only source of income. That's why many advocates believe protecting it isn't enough. It must be expanded. Political divide and the push for a $200 increase? Democratic lawmakers in the House have floated a proposal that would provide a $200 monthly boost for all Social Security recipients for 6 months. Supporters say this short-term increase would help seniors cope with rising prices. Critics argue it would add more pressure to an already fragile system unless new funding is introduced. Meanwhile, some experts point out that past administrations didn't cut Social Security, but they didn't expand it either. The system has been left on autopilot, drifting further out of touch with the reality seniors face. The solution, according to most analysts, lies in changing the COLA metric, not temporary bonuses. A permanent shift to CPI-E could ensure future increases actually reflect seniors' real expenses. Why many seniors say 2026 still feels like falling behind? Even with the 2.8% increase, most retirees won't feel a meaningful difference because Medicare Part B premiums are expected to rise again, offsetting much of the COLA gain. Every year, seniors see a small raise that's wiped out by higher medical costs. That's why so many call it a raise and erase system one hand gives and the other takes it back. It's not just frustrating, it's demoralizing for millions who've spent decades paying into the system, expecting stability in return. Other 2026 adjustments, condensed. The SSA also announced standard yearly updates, a higher taxable earnings cap, and a slightly higher earnings test threshold for working retirees. They're small but worth noting for anyone delaying benefits or still working part-time. Why does COLA reform matters for every senior? The fight to switch from CPI-W to CPI-E isn't just about math, it's about fairness. CPI-E tracks what retirees actually spend, from prescriptions to heating bills. If adopted, analysts estimate retirees could receive hundreds more per year, not as a bonus, but as a correction that reflects economic reality. In simple terms, the current system measures inflation for workers. The CPI-E would measure inflation for seniors, and that's what should guide Social Security real-life costs, not outdated formulas. The bigger picture: protect, expand, modernize. Social Security has been the foundation of retirement security for nearly 90 years. But the world has changed, people are living longer, healthcare is more expensive, and inflation is eating into fixed incomes faster than ever before. The program must evolve. That means updating how benefits are calculated, ensuring COLA reflects seniors' true expenses, protecting disability recipients from harmful rule changes, addressing the funding gap before the trust fund runs dry. The goal isn't just to save Social Security, it's to modernize it for the next generation of retirees. A personal message to every American retiree: every paycheck you've earned, every dollar you've paid, and that's your promise. Now it's Washington's turn to keep theirs. Protect Social Security, strengthen it, modernize it so every senior can retire with dignity and peace of mind. Because for millions of Americans, this isn't about politics. It's about whether they can afford rent, medication, or even groceries next month. The choices made today will decide that future. What to expect next? We'll keep tracking every new Social Security development for 2026, from COLA changes to congressional proposals, and bring you verified updates straight from official sources like SSA.gov and Congress.gov. If you want to know about these changes before they hit the headlines, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss the next major update that could affect your benefits, your savings, and your financial security. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care of yourself and those you love.